YouTube channel. Today we are going to make traditional hummus. We like ours with lemon, so we make like a lemon zest hummus. And I first make the beans in my Instant Pot, so I have 6 cups of dry beans and probably about 8 cups of water. I'll go ahead and show you guys me pouring the ingredients into the Instant Pot. I also just use the bean setting on the Instant Pot as 30 minutes, and I do not let it naturally release pressure. I do it manually. So I will go ahead and add those ingredients. You can see how much water it is above the beans. I buy my beans in bulk. I get a 25-pound bag. So I'll insert a picture of that so you guys can see what volume of beans that looks at. Just because we use them so much, I'll also show you how I store them after I cook them, so you guys can kind of have an idea of what we use them and how we store them. All right, thank you so much. Oh, you want to do the video?
Yes.
We have a little extra. We'll have you pour them in, okay? Why don't you go get a chair? So here's my Instant Pot, and Camden is going to pour the beans in. We got 2 cups.
I got 1 more left.
1 more left, okay. And 4 cups. Great job, buddy. And then we're just going to go to the settings, and we're going to do the beans and chili, which is 30 minutes. And then, yep, start pouring the water in.
Okay.
Whoa, great job, dude.
Oops.
It's okay. So we have about 2.5 inches above the beans of water. And then we are going to go ahead and secure the lid on. And we'll let those go ahead and cook and come to pressure. Beans. I'm opening them up, so this is what they look like. They do have a little bit of water still in there, which is just fine. You can save that for different recipes, or you can strain it out. So I'm going to let these cool before I start making my hummus and dividing them up. Okay, hello. We are here to make our hummus now. So I have a food processor and about 7 cups of the cooked chickpeas that I cooked in the Instant Pot. I also have about 2 cups of the liquid. It's called aquafaba, so bean water, that I use. I also use it sometimes in other recipes. I think baking. I have about 1.5 tablespoons of tahini, 2 cloves of garlic. I have one lemon that I zested and the juice. I also have 2 tablespoons of olive oil and about a teaspoon and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt and pepper. So 1 teaspoon of salt, about 1/4 of a teaspoon to 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. And then I also have water. This is the low oil recipe, so I use mostly the bean water and then also just some water to strain through the top so it can get creamy and add to the consistency. So I just dump everything into the food processor. This is more of like a lemony hummus. We personally like the more lemon tasting. And it's fine to use canned beans, or you can just make them in the Instant Pot like I did. I love making them in the Instant Pot. I make all of our dried beans. And after this, I'll show you guys how I store my dried beans in the freezer. So add your tahini. And there's no, you don't have to follow this step by step. You can just add all your ingredients to the food processor any way you want to. I just like to do it this. I do save my liquids for the last to kind of strain in slowly while I'm food processing it. It just makes it a little bit of a better consistency. So I run this for a few moments just as is, and then I drizzle in the olive oil, and then I drizzle in water after that. So let's go ahead and get to mixing. So now's the time. I've done it for a few moments, and now I put it on low and just drizzle in the olive oil. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and start adding in the water a little bit at a time. I do have it on high right now, so I'll just add it. I just add it until it gets about the consistency that I like it, or that your family likes it. And so far, I've only added about 1/4 of a cup. So I'm gonna go ahead adding the rest of the water until it's about the consistency I like it. If you want, if you're using canned beans, what you can do is take a washcloth and put the beans in between the washcloth and rub it. Kind of like you would just set your beans in here and then rub it back and forth, and that takes some of the shells off. But I've noticed when you cook the beans in the Instant Pot, the shells are really creamy and you don't need to remove them at all to make that really creamy consistency. If you buy hummus and you feel like when you buy it it's a lot creamier than when you make it, that's probably why, because they take the shells off. So that's just a little tip that you can try. I'm gonna go ahead and keep mixing this up and I'll show you when we're all okay. So we're all done here. This is the consistency of mine. It still is a little bit chunky. I don't mind that. Yeah, but it's nice and thick. I added some flavorings to mine. I actually added another 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, which is another whole lemon. I added about another tablespoon of salt and a little more pepper. And then I added onion powder and garlic powder to it, so give it a little bit of flavor. You can add roasted red peppers, artichoke hearts, Kalamata olives, anything to your hummus, pine nuts, pesto, just all sorts of different flavorings. But I like mine pretty plain, like I said, just with like the lemon and a little bit of garlic and onion powder. Okay, so what I want to show you guys is what I do with the beans after I cook them. And I put them in these little plastic bags. They are from Target. They are 1 cup measurements. And I know you guys are probably thinking, oh my gosh, plastic bags. That's a lot of plastic bags that you would use for this. And it is. But I reuse them. So I take one out, or I take a whole slew of them out whenever I first start this process, which was a while ago. And every time I dump a bag of beans in a pot or whatever recipe I'm using it for, I just put these little baggies, I just took them out, but I put them in the freezer. So they're staying sanitary in the freezer by not getting, just sitting around basically. So I just take 1 cup of beans and I put it in this little flexible cutting board that I have, and I open up the bag, and I don't really personally care that if they had black beans in it before, what type of beans they had in it before. I just reuse them all in the same time. So I just bend it in half and then I pour the beans into the little bags and I store them in my freezer. And I store them in just little containers in my freezer, just like all the garbanzo beans together, kidney beans, black beans, that type of thing. So this is what they look like when they're all done. I have them ready to go in the freezer. All right, so if you guys like this type of content, I make recipe videos, what we eat for dinner, what we're gonna eat for breakfast, lunch, those type of things. As a vegan family, also grocery shopping hauls, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and please comment below what you guys like to put in your hummus or how you guys cook in advance to make your lives a little bit easier and how you might store it. So any ideas are super helpful. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend or whatever time you guys are having.